Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today.
Everything's better. Mother and daughter, oh, they're the greatest duo. Mother and daughter, oh, they're the greatest duo.
Happy April the 13th. How's your day going, Angie?
Good. It's beautiful outside.
It really is. I'm telling you, this weekend I was such an outside girl that I didn't even remember what inside looked like. I mean, this weekend has so much going on. Saturday we did the festivals and markets and all that, and then Sunday the Mini Cooper group, we went to go see the old monument for Baylor out in Washington County. Then we went out to Montgomery and ate at a restaurant called Ransoms, and then we went to see the Blue Bonnets. It was amazing, like 25 of us. It was so cool. So I was outside this weekend, and I'm paying for it today because my allergies and my eyes and everything is feeling really weird. But today on April 13th, we are continuing our series with warnings for women, and today we're talking about a movie that Angie, I almost didn't look at this movie because, and I know this is being very judgmental, but the title was too long.
Yeah, it took me a minute to watch it too.
And then I didn't know that this was a spoof off of The Woman in the Window.
Did you watch the original one?
I never seen that one. I don't know. I'm not a scary movie watching person.
It's not really scary. It's more suspenseful.
I don't like stuff about people trapped in attics and all. You got your name from a woman that was trapped in an attic. I'm just not into it no more. I just, if it's not the traditional old, I seen Jason, I seen Pet Sematary, I seen Michael Myers. If it's not the old school stuff, like I've never seen any of that paranormal stuff, none of the.
Well, that's totally different. That's actually horror. This is like thriller, suspenseful type stuff.
Yeah, but I just, I didn't even know. And I almost didn't watch this because I was trying to figure out what was going to happen. But the thing that drew me in was one of my favorite characters. And when I say favorite, I'm just saying she's one of the favorite characters that I'll watch pretty much anything she's in. And that was Kristen Bell. Mm-hmm. If she had not been in it and would have been a random person, I probably would have looked at it like I did. And I would have said, no, I'm not going to watch that. But something one day, my instinct said, oh, Kristen Bell is in that. Why don't you go ahead and watch it? So the movie we're referring to is called, what is it? The Woman in the Window Across the Street. What's the total name?
The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
In the window.
I put The Woman in the Window.
I thought that title was so ridiculously long that it literally almost turned me off from watching it, because I saw that and I went, one of the rules for titling your movie is that you just never want to do that. One of the things is they want you to have literally 3 words. Like, if you want a short title, 3 words, people can Google you easy. You can get an easy email address you can get a website. Like, this is so long that it almost turned me off. But I didn't even know it was a spoof until I was doing a show with the guy from Pop Culture Cosmos, and he was like, well, it was a spoof. And I'm like, no, I didn't, but I get it now because it was really funny. When you watched it, what turned you on about it that made you go, I'm gonna go ahead and watch this? Because for me, the title turned me off. The character put me back on it.
I think it was the title and the fact that Kristen Bell is in it. But if I would have paid more attention to the actual title rather than focusing on how long it was, I would have known how it was going to end.
What about the first one? Did you ever see the original?
Yeah.
Oh, so you've seen the old one?
Yeah.
Was it kind of like this one?
I might have to actually.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to say, because I was wondering if the old one was kind of like this one where somebody actually got stabbed.
I don't know about being stabbed, but it was something along the lines of her watching someone in the window, like,
I think the other thing, the one thing that excited me about it is that when it came on, it was more modern day. And they didn't try to take it back to like, you know, how people do period pieces where they'll do like 1980s,
Mhm.
1970s or something. I like the fact that they brought it up to 20 in the 2020s, 2022, that you know, she was, you know, just kind of like modern, very, you know, kind of independent, you know, not married anymore, had a kid, you know, it's very modern type of movie.
Yeah.
They didn't try to take it back to the 80s or whenever that other piece was made, but I really thought it was really suspenseful, and it kept my attention that I was doing something, but I stopped doing that just to look at it because I didn't want to start missing little pieces. And then I'd be like, well, now how did that happen? Oh, that's
Mhm.
because this happened. We're not going to give the ending of the movie away because honestly, there were like two people that I thought the suspect could have been. And I was wrong on both of them.
Cause we ain't even pay attention to the title.
That's what I'm
It
talking
was like
about.
it's like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 13 words in the whole title.
I know. And the thing about it too is that the way they set the movie up, you could have thought it was at least three or four characters because you
Oh
had people
yeah.
that were a little jealous. You
Mhm.
had people that were like, you know, thought you were weird. You know, you had this issue with coming outside in the rain. You had the
Yeah.
ex-husband that was, you know, subscribing your medication. You had, you know, the kid that died because the ex-husband left him in the room with a murder. Like there were so many elements and pieces moving that you were like, well, maybe this person did it. Well, no, no, no.
Mhm.
He has a background in the issue, so he probably did it. Oh, no, 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 no. What's going on up in the attic? And it was just really very interesting. I had already thought to myself, okay, I already know this is who did it. And then I even got to the point where it was like, maybe it really never happened and they just messing with her. That's what I got to
'Cause
the point where I was like,
they did pretty good trying to make her seem like she was the crazy one.
but you know, in the end, what the movie reminded me of, and I don't know the name of it, but I know you've seen it. That movie where she's like, why Emily? Why Emily? Why
Oh,
Emily?
Case 39.
Yes, that reminded me of that little girl. And I don't think I've seen that that whole Case 39 movie. I have just seen clips of that part.
That's so
And so
2009.
I know that reminded me of that. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that little girl. Child, let me tell you something. They need to quit putting these kids in these movies. I wonder often when you put kids in movies, like, I don't know who plays Chucky. I don't know if it's a kid or if it's a little person, but I often wonder when you put kids in movies or if if any of this traumatizes them, or maybe the way they do their movies that the kid plays a certain role, but when it comes to the blood and gory stuff, maybe they remove the kid out of the room. Because I often wonder about that when I see kids cussing in shows. And I wonder, are the kids really cursing or is it a flip of the switch where it makes us think they're cursing? Because I wouldn't want my kid to be in a movie role where they were cussing and doing certain
Be
things.
a lot of training and therapy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love Mike Epps show that he had on, what was the name of it?
The
On
Upshaws on Netflix.
I love the Upshaws. I don't like the fact that everybody cusses. I don't like the fact that the kids cuss. I don't,
Oh.
that made me very uncomfortable. Now I watched it simply because I like him and I like the group of people that they put together for the movie,
Mhm.
but I didn't like the fact that everybody got to cuss. I was
I think it
uncomfortable
got
with that and I
renewed
don't
for
like it at
another
all.
season.
And I can't wait for it to come back on, but I see that he mentioned on his Netflix episode that I saw last week, he mentioned that he got approved for a whole nother show. So he's
Mhm.
got a whole nother series that is coming on. And I said, well, I hope it doesn't conflict with the Upshaws where he's playing a similar character. I hope that it's something totally different. But I don't know because I don't know when it's coming out, or it could be already up there. I just don't know. I haven't been over there to look at anything. But with this woman across the street, I found it to just be really, really delightful. I could see, you know, I think the day I was watching it, it was raining outside too.
Mm.
And it was around about 5 in the evening. So it was kind of getting dark or whatever. So it was like the perfect thing. And then she was talking about, you know, about how she's afraid to go out in the rain. So it really set a whole tone. If I was a wine drinker, that would have been, I'm gonna tell you right now, the movie, if you watch it and you got all of that going on, a little wine and some little snacks would have been perfect because the way
You
the
got
movie, and it
about
wasn't
3, 4 glasses of wine in one right there.
right, right. Exactly. So I like how it tried to make you think like she's crazy.
Mhm.
Like she went through this trauma and she is hallucinating and crazy. So my warning for women on this is to follow your instincts, no matter how outlandish it is, no matter
Yeah.
how ridiculous it is, no matter how nobody else believes anything you are talking about. I'm gonna say follow your instincts, because sometimes you say and do some crazy things that people are just like, what? And in the end, they realize you're not as crazy as they thought you were.
Yeah.
You may say crazy things, you may do crazy things, but in the end, people realize that, you know what, there was some belief. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now. My Aunt Elnora, she used to say some crazy things. She used to say, I can't even say the things that she say. I can't even say it in public. But she would say things, and as a kid, you'd be like, old people, they say crazy things. She does, old people don't know what they're talking about. I'm gonna tell you right now today, every single thing she ever said, I get it. Everything she ever said about doctors, everything she ever said about preachers, everything she ever said about life stuff, everything she ever said about instincts, everything she ever said about spirits, every single thing she ever said, I see everything she talking about right now. Everything. So I'm just telling you, sometimes you have to listen to what people say, and you got to kind of park it, and then maybe you come back to it later, because that's what I do. Somebody say something really strange, I park it, and sometimes it might take 20 years, it might take 15 years, it may take 10 years, and I'm like, you know what, so and so said that. So and so said XYZ, and now boom, I see it. So I believe that statement that they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I believe that's true,
Mhm.
because sometimes your brain is not ready to receive certain things. So my warning to women is to follow your instincts. If you feel like something is what you think it is, it'll show up.
That's
It'll
true.
show up. Because I was starting to think, you know what, her trauma has got her hallucinating some really strange things, where even to the point where she
Nah, but
started,
trauma can also make you woke too and realize a bunch of stuff you ain't even pay attention to before.
it absolutely could, if you allow it to teach
I
you
feel like
whatever
a
it's
lot of
supposed to
trauma
teach.
make people spiritual too.
I don't know.
That's well,
I
the ones that I
don't know.
know, a lot of the handful of people I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you either were going to be spiritual or not, but maybe the trauma wakes it up in you. I don't know. I do know that I was driving along yesterday, and I was saying, and I just said this to myself just randomly. I'm by myself, I'm nobody in the car. And I was like, I really wish that whatever traumas people have gone through, or whatever issues or negative things they've had, I really wish they would get to that point where they decide they're going to forget and forgive all of it and move on with their life to be the person that they're supposed to be, instead of letting like all the negativity hold them back. And my brain was just like, man, I wish everybody knew how to do that. Because I believe every single person has to do it. And the reason I believe every single person has to do it is because if you sit around blaming, I think in my mind, I was saying something about certain therapists, and I was saying to myself, really, the therapists still have to do the work. And I was saying to myself, I wish
Say that
people knew how
again.
to
You was
heal
breaking up.
themselves. I was saying that I wish that people knew how to heal themselves instead of having to go to therapists, because they ask you a series of questions that you can also be asking yourself to help yourself. And nobody knows the feeling of how you felt about something but you. And so it's really up to you to fix yourself. And I don't know, I was just thinking, I was saying, I wish that people could get past their trauma and start to heal themselves, so that they don't have to go through the rest of their life worrying about what their mama did, what their daddy did, what their cousin did, what somebody did to hurt their feelings. But also, sometimes you have to release those people out of your life and just like, okay, all right. A few things I didn't understand about this movie, and I even told you. The man took his daughter to work. He knew who he had in the room with him, the criminal. First of all, you would have never went to work with your daddy if he worked anywhere in the justice system, at a
First of all,
prison.
we'd have to fight because there's no way I'm taking my daughter to my job where a whole person is eating people.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Even if you work from home, you
could
can
have
keep
never, or what he could have done is he could have took her to work with him. He could have held her hand and showed her around, and then put her back in the car with her mama and sent her home. But to like, here's what was, and this is what made me mad actually, and I almost stopped watching it, because I was like, this don't make sense. You're in a room, and I get it that you're taking your daughter to work and she's listening to the case, so that, that's knowledge. But you're sitting here with a killer who eats kids. First of all, I wouldn't have let my child be that close in vicinity to him, because in the prison system, they have like the wall behind where you could see what people are doing. So she would have had to be on the other side of the window. And then when the dude told him to come here, it's like he didn't even think twice. Oh, let me grab my daughter before I turn my back to listen to what this man is saying. because when the dude called my name, he would have been a second thought.
I can't even
The
be
daughter,
the one that don't even think fast enough, or like just don't
that's
even
what I'm
think.
saying. As
I
soon
don't.
as the dude said, I have something, can I come talk to you? Can you come talk to me for a minute? He would have been a second thought. The daughter would have been the first thought of, okay,
Right.
I'm going to grab her hand and we're going to come talk to you. Then that way we could close the door on the criminal.
Right.
I'm so glad they didn't let us see what happened, because I would have been ticked off if they would have showed us what happened. I'm glad they left it to my crazy imagination that if he said this is what the man does, I'm assuming he probably bit the girl or something and killed her. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But that guy that played that role, I didn't like him. He really, I don't know where they got that character from, but he reminded me of like Charles Manson or somebody. He just had a look.
Mm.
He had a crazy person look in his eye, like somebody who kills people. That character was weird. And I get it that she said she let him take her to work because she worked from home, so no need
Well,
in
y'all
keeping
would
her
just would
home.
have to be at home then.
Well, I would have went with him. Then that way I would have made sure, because I don't know, his
Yeah,
job
either
was,
that or she would have had to stay home for sure.
yeah,
'cause-
his job was too sensitive for a kid to even have been allowed. And I think in real life, a kid wouldn't have been allowed in a system like that, because they don't even like for regular visitors to come, let alone your attorney or your psychologist or whatever. It just was weird. The other thing that turned me off about the movie that kind of upset me just a little was the fact that, you know, the dude that was living in the attic.
Yeah,
So you gonna put somebody in the attic and not even tell me? I mean, he's not gonna do anything to me, but I don't want to hear noises while I'm asleep.
she already
you
going
understand
crazy.
how-
Yeah.
That was weird to me. So it made me turn
And
on
he
the
already
husband.
had a past too. He had like a past.
He had killed
killed
his
whole
folks.
family. Yeah, his whole family.
But
I
it made
mean,
me almost turn on the husband, because I was like, is he trying to like take the blame off of him for what he did and put it on her being crazy? Because if somebody's living in my attic, they got to get up and down. They laying down in the bed. They get up. They got to get up every morning, put their clothes on. Somebody's in the house, and you're gonna leave somebody and not tell me. I get.
and he working on the house almost every day.
Yeah, he was kind of weird though. Didn't you kind of think he was the killer?
I thought almost everybody really. I had to evaluate everybody.
That was me. I went through and I said, the first person I said, okay, this is the person. And then the second person I said is, you know what, it's him, because he's strange anyway. And then I was like, no, it's gonna be the gardener. Nah, it ain't the gardener. The girlfriend is playing a trick on them, and she really ain't dead anyway. She just wanted to tick her off because she thought she wanted her man. And then I was like, well, you know, the dad is kind of strange. I don't like, he's a little hyper aggressive. I don't like him either. And then that neighbor, I ain't really like the neighbor either. So I literally went through the gambit of everybody did it. Everybody, their mama did it. You know, I was like trying to evaluate. But when it happened and we saw what happened, I was like, oh, no, they didn't. So now, do you think they're gonna do a part 2? What do you think?
I was gonna ask you that. I really don't know. It's hard to tell because of we already found out who it was, and I don't know what else can happen other than maybe like a backstory or like rewind a little bit of how
Well,
that
you
even
know, she
happened
could.
with the.
Well, she could always. Let me see. On part 2, we could always get more detail between her and her husband to see if he was overdosing her. We could always figure out if she ends up with the neighbor across the street, or if he, you know, what that relationship could be, and then maybe she could dig into more of his life or whatever. We could always see where the young person goes to psychiatric hospital or whatever, and see if she grows up and she gets another chance in society, and maybe she does something all over again. I mean, there's 2 or 3 ways they could actually spin this off and come back. And if Kristen Bell is in, I'm gonna watch it all again.
Well, hopefully the title
I
isn't
like
that
her.
long.
Yeah. What was that series that you went and found for me and sent it to me, where she used to be in? She was a detective.
Veronica Mars.
I used to love Veronica Mars, and I think that was maybe my first introduction to her. I'm not sure, but she also
Probably.
played in a show either on Showtime or HBO with Don Cheadle, and that one was a good show. And I can't even find it anywhere without having to pay for it. But
Yeah.
I would love to watch that series all over again too. It was so much fun. But if I had to give this movie a grade on a scale from a 1 to 10, it's gonna get a 10. I want to give it a 9 because they made me think too much, but I mean, that's my problem, not theirs. So I have to go ahead and give it a 10. It was really good. I told so many people about it. I was just like, You're not gonna like the title because it's too long, and we see that and we think that's ridiculous. But that kind of almost made me think it was gonna be some shenanigans just simply because of the title. So I
Yeah.
kind of knew it was gonna be some shenanigans because of that. But I mean, that's our show for today. We just wanted to talk about the woman in the a woman in the house across the street. I mean, it's just so many words. I don't even want to say them. It's just so many. But if you have Netflix and you want to watch a good thriller, especially if you got friends over, or you got a date over, something you want to watch like a good thriller, if the mood is right and everything, get you some wine and some snacks. And it's a time where you don't have two or three other things going on in the background, but that you can actually sit and watch the movie and pay attention to all the little, because I was looking at all the little intricacies of, okay, when she spilled the wine, I was looking at the fact that when the guy across the street, girlfriend, boyfriend showed up, I thought he was a suspect too. I didn't know what was gonna happen with all of that. But it was kind of funny how they brought him in for just a short little second. I think they
Mhm.
did that to make us think he was a suspect. Because you see how fast he disappeared.
Yeah, they made everybody seem like a suspect.
They made
But that's
everybody.
what kept you watching it all the way through too.
Exactly. I think if I had been right about any of them, I would have been like, "Oh, I knew it." But the fact that I did not have any clue.
Yeah.
Now I will tell you, I did think the man across the street daughter was strange, but I
I
just
didn't even pay attention to her at all.
she reminded me of the little white
Yeah.
Emily White.
Yeah.
She reminded me of that little girl. She just had a conniving look about her. And I didn't want to say that about a kid, but she had a conniving look about her, like she was trying to take advantage of the fact that she knew the lady liked her daddy and that the daddy was single, even though she knew this man had a girlfriend. So it's like little conniving kids like that. I don't like them at all because they are just weird. Like I was telling you about the little kid on Sex Life. That little kid, I was just like, I did not like that kid at all. Like I I didn't
Oh,
like
the
that.
son?
Yeah, I did not like that little kid because he was trying to give his mom a guilt trip because she wasn't at his every beck and call. And it's like, look, dude, she had a life before you were born. So if she has to go out, she got to go out just to get away from you for a little while, and then she can get back to you. But she got a life
See,
too
that's
that
what I'm
don't
not
include.
trying to do.
I don't like kids like that. I can't stand kids like
Some
that.
people only like their own kids, like Missy.
Yeah.
She don't like kids. She like her own though.
That was so funny. We were talking about it at the table yesterday, and the lady said that she don't like nobody else pets, but she only like hers.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
said there are people like that with kids, is that they only like their kids, but they can't stand nobody else kids. And I'm like, that's an actual real reality that happens. People are like that. Because I can honestly tell you, before I ever had kids, I didn't like kids. I didn't want kids. I thought kids, people didn't train their kids properly. And every time I would see kids having temper tantrum, I was just like, I could not stand those kids. And then I thought to myself, well, I could raise my kids different. I don't have to worry about. Yeah, I can honestly say, out of all four of y'all, I ain't never, and you know how wild Josh was. I ain't never had no kid have no temper tantrum at the HEB. It was never gonna happen, baby. I mean, child, please. All right, well, that's our show for today. And if you have not watched the movie, definitely watch The Woman in the House across the street from the folks in the window, whatever.
From the girl.
Every time I was trying to tell somebody, I was like, just go type in Kristen Bell. And then somebody gonna say, is that with a K or a C? I'm like, forget it. Never mind. If you don't know who I'm talking about, never mind. I'm not gonna sit here and explain to you. I just realized my little moo has pockets.
No, you can
Oh,
find mine that looks like that.
yeah, look at that. I got pockets.
That's why you got it, because it had pockets.
Oh, I got it. I thought I got it because of the color in the little rhinestones going down.
I mean, that
Oh
too.
my
But yeah.
goodness. My other one don't have pockets. I have another one that does, but sure, that's cute. And then the pockets got sure. Anyway, me and Peyton went into the Ross in Austin, and I was gonna pick us up some more moo baby. I stopped looking. You know how when we go into the Ross that we go into, the moo be on the corner, right?
In the dress area.
Exactly. They had everything everywhere. They had stuff stuck in it. They didn't have that section, so I got turned off, and I said, "Let's
Oh.
go." I was like, "Let's go." I don't like this one. They ain't got their stuff set up where I can go in any Ross in Houston, and I know to go to the little corner where the dress is at, and they're gonna have all the moo lined up.
Right.
Not this Ross. This Ross was kind of fancy. They had I don't know where they moo were. And I wasn't finna look through the whole thing to find it, so I was like, I don't like looking.
Mm-mm.
That's one of the reasons why I certain other stores I don't like because I don't like to look through certain things. But anyway, that's our show for today. Angie, let them know what to do. And thank you to all of our subscribers. And I see that we got a lot of response on that Sex Life one. So people are liking
Yeah.
these movie reviews. So for the
Yeah.
rest of the month, which this month will be gone so fast, we're going to still be doing our women warnings on these movies. Our next one on Sunday is going to be on Bridgerton. We're only going to talk about episode 1. I mean, season 1. because a lot of you have not seen season 2, and then there's so many people who haven't even seen 1 because they didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
So, we got to keep that in mind as well. But all right then, let them know what they need to
It
do.
was freezing up. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing. We're seeing a lot of comments and likes, not only on YouTube but on Podbeam and on the other streaming services that we're using. But keep sharing. I know a couple people that are still sharing and trying to keep up with us. So it'd be nice to definitely turn your notifications on so you can catch up with us. But keep subscribing, liking, and commenting. We're seeing it, we're loving it, and we're replying back fast as we
Right.
can. I
And
like on
another
YouTube Studio too. It's easier to reply back on YouTube Studio to all of them.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that. The other reason why you want to definitely have your notifications on is because there are going to be times where we're going to go live and we'll be at an exclusive event or something behind the scenes, or when we get ready to show the new podcast studio, you might miss out. We may do an Instagram live. We might do a live on YouTube, and if you miss it, it's going to be like, dang, you got to go back and watch it when you could have been communicating with us in real time live. So that's our show for today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.